Los Angeles is battling through the worst fires in its history. At least 24 people have tragically been killed. More than 150,000 have been forced to flee their homes. 10,000 structures have been completely destroyed, including some of the country's most expensive real estate. And when the fires broke out, LA Mayor Karen Bass was in Africa. And when she returned, instead of answering critical questions from reporters, she chose to just ignore those questions and stay silent.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? I appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Karen Bass had a choice in that moment. Instead of fronting up and showing leadership, she ran away. Who else would like to know why she approved an $18 million budget cut for the LA Fire Department, why a major reservoir which holds 117 million gallons of water has been sitting empty for almost a year, which meant that smaller tanks were quickly exhausted and fire hydrants were running dry as firefighters risked their lives trying to save homes. And why did Karen Bass have nothing to say as the people of Los Angeles were going through the most horrifying experience that was made worse because of the government's mismanagement? Well, after ignoring reporters and showing no leadership at the start of this crisis, Karen Bass has posted a bizarre video where she appears slightly upbeat and even smiling as she tells the people of LA that she's seen the devastation.
Angelenos, we're still going through it, and to any of you and all of you that have experienced a loss, the grief, the anger, the just utter shock, I've seen the devastation. It is unbelievable the amount of loss that people have experienced. But we have to get through this crisis, and I know that we will. I was at the Sylmar command post today, and I saw the work of our first responders and how they've been able to defeat the fires in certain areas. We know we still have much more to go, and we know the winds are going to kick up again. But we got to stick together. We got to stand strong. And then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city, one of the greatest cities in the world. And
is that helpful? The people of LA don't need to be told that she's seen the devastation. They're all experiencing the heartbreak and devastation for themselves. They also don't need to be told that LA is the nation's second largest city. They need answers, they need leadership, and they need to know why decisions were made that meant that LA was not prepared to fight these fires. Well, there are calls for Karen Bass to resign, and those calls are getting louder. Almost 100,000 people have signed a change.org petition demanding that she steps down due to the gross mismanagement of the fires. And Karen Bass isn't the only one facing calls to resign. President-elect Donald Trump is calling on the Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, to stand down. Writing on Truth Social, Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water, but didn't care about the people of California. Now, the ultimate price is being paid. Now, Trump has been criticising Newsom's forest management for years. Back in 2019, he wrote, "I told him from the first day we met that he must clean his forest floors regardless of his bosses, the environmentalists, demand of him. They must also do burns." Trump warned Newsom to, quote, "get his act together" and to open the closed water lanes coming down from the north. But Gavin Newsom now claims that he doesn't know what Trump is talking about, and he also tries to claim that all of the reservoirs in California are full. Just look at this spin.
I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt and reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
We do know, though, from reporting here locally that one reservoir that serves the Palisades was not full.
And that's exactly what triggered my desire to get the investigation, to understand what was happening with that local reservoir.
Gavin Newsom is trying to do his own PR, claiming that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and posted on X a link for people to get the facts about the fires. Now that takes you to gavinnewsom.com/California Fire Facts, which also directs people to donate to the California Fire Foundation. But that link that's on the top right-hand corner doesn't take you to the California Fire Foundation. If you click on it, what it actually takes you to is actblue.com/donate/CFDEM LA Fire 2025. Act Blue is a fundraising platform for the Democrat Party. On that link, it shows Newsom's campaign for democracy and informs donors that they'll be signed up for text updates from the Political Action Committee. Professor Joseph Siracusa says that Gavin Newsom can kiss the White House goodbye.
Oh, he's gone. You know, he can kiss the White House goodbye. This is a political disaster. Americans expect their governors and their mayors and their police chiefs and fire chiefs to get a handle on this, and they were poorly prepared for this. And keep in mind, there are, I think, 7 major water facilities that were supposed to be built, but they couldn't meet the ecosystems criteria as a result of Newsom's pushing on this angle here. So he's going to have to bear the burden here, and I do not think Kamala Harris is going to rush in to replace his job, because there's a lot of people there who are angry, and with good reason.
Annalise Nielsen is on the ground in Los Angeles.
Streets normally gridlocked with traffic are held clear for emergency workers, while entire neighbourhoods remain closed, those both at risk and those already hit. Many residents don't know if their homes are still standing.
It's my parents' house. They're 79 and 85, and my dad's sick, and he's asking about his house because he spent his entire life, wanting to live by the sea or having a house by the sea.
We found Cindy Salcedo with her bike, trying to get around the roadblocks.
Trying to find out if our house is still standing. You can't get past Getty Villa. It's a hard stop.
Armed with an address and our press credentials, we made our way past the police checks on the Pacific Coast Highway, where house after house had burned to the ground. So many, in fact, it was hard to tell where her father's home was even supposed to be.
I'm going to send you a photo. I don't know if we have good news for you. So I'm sorry.
Okay, I understand. Any news is something I'm grateful. Thank you so much. It came in 20. I think you're in the right spot.
I'm really sorry. I was hoping this would be a good news story.
I got information and now I know. No, but thank you. It's at least now I have a little bit of closure.
While those living in this city under siege want answers for why government authorities weren't better prepared.
Well, I want to know why we didn't have enough water for all the fire hydrants. Oh, of course. Of course. They cut the budget, of course. And like I say, I want to emphasize more than anything how amazing our firefighters are and the first responders. None of this is on them. We are immensely grateful for everything they did with the limited resources they had towards the end, because they have not, they went to every neighborhood that they could. And like I said, just the fact that they had the foresight to throw our flammables into our pool so that our house wouldn't ignite, and that they put out the fire on our hedge, they were there at least. Do you know what I mean? They tried to do what they could, and we can never repay them for their heroism or what they've done for us. We just can't. But I think the town, everyone I'm talking to, most of the people in this hotel are evacuees, and they are angry, and they want answers.
And answers are still difficult to come by as authorities were dealt with another blow. New fronts broke out, threatening new neighbourhoods, just as slower winds were supposed to give firefighters some reprieve. What makes firefighting so difficult and dangerous in the canyons surrounding Los Angeles are tiny spot fires just like the one you can see here. It is small but has the potential to climb quickly up the mountainside, and we're just on the cusp of a highly populated area of Los Angeles that has already been evacuated. At the same time, firefighters are doing those water drops to try to put those small fires out. But as the wind picks up, as you can see it is now, it makes it more difficult for planes to drop that water, and in an instant it can be out of control. There's no end in sight to this catastrophe. Here in Santa Monica, there's an eerie calm, with many people who live here choosing to leave, even if just to escape the smoke, while the citizens of Los Angeles fight to survive another day.